It's there! Holy moly, this one's going to go big.
Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to have a look at Barcrest's High Rise. This was a £4.80 jackpot AWP from, trying to work out the year in my head here, I would peg this at 1991, maybe 1992, because what we have here is an MPU4 tech machine. It was launched on the £4.80 jackpot and then got an upgrade to the £6 jackpot, which you can see on the left and right hand side here respectively. However, it has the old style bloopy bleepy MPU4 sound. So this is before Barcrest went to Yamaha synth sound, and obviously then of course before as well they went to full sampled sound. So we know it's got to be 1990 and onwards because that's when the £4.80 jackpot came in, and we know it has to be before they moved to synth sound because otherwise they would have been using it for this machine. The reason I'm going to cover this one is it's partly just to follow on from the Luxor video in terms of just covering old fruit machines, and also because this is a machine that's been talked about quite a lot on the various fruit machine emulation forums over the years, and I thought it was worth covering as a throwback, a look back at how these old AWPs used to be before things started to go increasingly bonkers once we went into the, the big streak era that you could argue was started by Ace with the Hidden Treasures machines. Meigei certainly went in early on pretty hard streak profile machines. This here is a far gentler proposition. I've put a lot of money through it. If you look at the one on the left hand side here, I've put £1,143 through it. Now, Autoplay has done a lot of the heavy lifting on that, but I have been frequently stepping in and taking over to play the machine to try and get a proper idea in my head of the profile of the machine and how it plays and how it pays. So we'll have a go with it here. We'll have a look at that. We've also got a little bit of historical material. So here's the original flyer for this. So we can see there, the flyer is always the original truth, if you will. So if we look at the flyer, we can see there that we've got the £4.80 jackpot and 20p play. So that is how it was launched. Unfortunately, we have no date on there. It does say introducing Tradcab, the brand new cabinet from Barcrest. So it doesn't really help us unless you know when the Tradcab was introduced. And a couple of pictures of the real thing as well. This is one that has had the £6 upgrade, you can see there. So we have a £3 cash repeater and the £6 jackpot up at the top. We've also got one here that's looking, to bless it, that one's looking a little bit sorry for itself. That's clearly been in the wars. That one there's got a weird stake and prize combination where it seems to be running the £6 ROMs, but on an all-cash jackpot. So we've got a £2.40 repeater and a £3 jackpot. My suspicion there is that would actually be a £3 repeater, but it hasn't got the decals on it. There's the flyer, and there's another picture which presumably is from the flyer as well, because that does look like a publicity picture for it. In terms of Fruit Machine forums, you can see here that this machine has been mentioned many, many times over the years at Desert Island Fruit, and also back on the MPU Mecha. We've actually had a layout for this for a long time. See here, going all the way back to February 2005, so 21 years ago, the first classic was released for this by Compost Corner, and a little bit of a chat ensued about it there as well. And a thread about it at the MPU Mecha here too, where someone is trying to bring one back from the dead. I was sort of hoping that in here, because there was some pictures of boards in one of the threads as well. See there, we've got a picture of the machine itself, but also the power supply. There's pictures of the internals of the machine. I was hoping that there'd be a date stamped on something in here, but there isn't. Not that it really matters, but I would have really liked to have just nailed down in my head exactly when this one came out. But what comes through in all the different threads and comments about this machine over the years is that people do seem to remember it fairly fondly as a good machine to play and a decent example of an AWP that actually delivered on that amusement with prizes premise. It's also a machine that, very much like Luxor, where I have a super specific memory of playing it in a particular location, this here is the Swan and Railway pub in Radcliffe up in North Manchester, the town that I grew up in. And this here is one of the pubs that me and my friends spent an awful lot of time in when we could start getting served in the pubs, which was going into 1991 and onwards. It does appear to be, as far as I can tell, that is still a pub. So there's the most recent Google Street View in August 2025, and it's still called the Swan and Railway, and that looks to me like it is still a pub as well. So the oldest picture that we've got here going back to 2008, and I have a very, very crystal clear memory of playing a high-rise in there when it was a new machine, which I'm going to have to peg. I suppose it's conceivable it's 1990, but I don't think so. If I had to have a bet on this, I'd say 91, maybe 92. And in this pub here, let's just go, that's a bit of a shit picture, isn't it? Let's go back to it. There we are. So in that side there, that was like a bar there. And in that room there, they had a high rise. Now, when I used to go out to the pub back in these days, money was tight. If I was going out with £20, I'd consider myself fairly flush for a night out. It wasn't unusual for me to go out with a tenner, maybe a bit of shrapnel as well, 12, 13, 14 pounds, something like that. Remember, this was in the day when you could just about get a pint of bitter for a quid. There were some Joseph Holtz's pubs in Radcliffe where you could still get a pint of bitter for a quid. In other pubs, it was just over a quid. And pint of lager would have been, maybe £1.20, something like that. So a tenner, if you were just drinking, maybe having a bit, go on pool and the jukebox and the video game quiz machine, whatever, a tenner would do you for a night out. Throw fruit machines into the mix, of course, and that became a far more precarious proposition. Talked in the past how I was often begging money off me mates because I'd run out of cash thanks to the fruit machine. So High Rise was a good one because this is a fairly gentle machine. You can tell here just by looking at the win plan that our lowest win on this is 60p, and it goes up from there with the very small jackpot as well, 480 jackpot, £2.40 repeater. It can actually pay decently well from all of these features. Skill cash, if you can hit it, is the £2.40 repeater. I was okay at this back in the day. I've got to be honest with you, I'm not doing well hitting it in the emulator, so I'm going to probably embarrass myself there. But this was a machine where if you were prepared to just collect things and roll with it to an extent, it could give you a decent game, and just a few pounds could last you a decent amount of time. Interestingly, and I didn't know this, I only found this out by going through all the coin slot archives when I've been researching the other videos on the channel recently, is that the fruit machine was deemed to be struggling in this era because they had gone up from the 10p play to 20p play. The jackpot hadn't gone up much, it was still tokens, and the 20p machines were not doing great finding traction with players. So if you think about it, in a pub like that, where we're talking about the change from the round brigade, you buy a couple of pints and you've got maybe with a £5 note, and you perhaps got a couple of pound coins and a bit of shrapnel, whatever it may be, the change from the round brigade. You've gone from being provided with 10 credits for £1 to 5 credits for £1. Your price of play has increased by 100%. Your jackpot has only gone up 20% from £4 to £4.80, and it's still tokens. Your cash repeater, your cash jackpot, if you will, has again only gone up by 20% from £2 to £2.40, and you've now got £2.40 repeaters. And by all accounts, these were not finding a huge amount of favour with players. That was the reporting that's in the coin slot, the industry commentary, the feedback from pubs and from landlords, was that there was a certain degree of player resistance to this new 20p play £4.80 jackpot format. High Rise was released into the middle of that. My theory on this is that the way that the fruit machine industry eventually decided to deal with this, inverted commas, is by going to those bigger, hard streak profiles, those £30 plus £40 streaks. In the case of Ace's Hidden Treasures machines, there's a whole video on the channel about the Hidden Treasures machines. They came out of the gate on Play It Again. That thing could do a £50 plus streak on a £4.80 jackpot, and the sort of word around the place, that the knowledge became disseminated that these were no longer relatively flat profile machines where you might win a few quid, you might lose a few quid. We were into the era of the streaks. High Rise does not seem to do that. Now, it can go reasonably big on the £2.40 repeater. I have seen the £2.40 repeater repeat straight out to £14.40, which is 240 plus 5 repeats. It can also throw a jackpot in there, maybe a couple of jackpots as well. So it does seem to have an enriched period of £20-ish, and it's almost got a sort of pseudo streak of around that level. But in over £1,000, you can see there, I have put £1,143 through this from a factory reset. I haven't seen it do what you would call a full streak in the way that we would perhaps traditionally understand it. So I think that's probably enough credits to say it doesn't have the full streak. Not in the way that, say, a Seven Heaven would do it, or a Play It Again would do it, or that very, very clear streak profile that Maygay had with, say, the Pink Panther and Monopoly and those kinds of machines. But that does mean that it's perhaps a gentler machine to play. And I've talked before about how, in my head, certain machines I remember as being quite terrifying propositions because your entire night could be over before you'd even finished your first drink if you hit a machine, a hard streak profile machine that decided to give you a proper kick in. That could be after one beer. That definitely happened to me on multiple occasions where I'd buy one drink, maybe one round, and that'd be it. The machine would skim me and I was down to either begging money or doing the walk of shame home. High Rise doesn't really play like that. You're genuinely very, very hard pushed to put £5 in this and not get a little bit of something back. And the opportunity to collect something, it just doesn't seem to have that in its profile. So let's have a look at it and see if it kind of lives up to the memories that everyone on the forum seems to have of it. This is a machine where I have genuinely not found, in all of these threads and all of this historical stuff, I have not found anyone with a bad word to say about this machine. Everyone seems to remember it as being something that's fairly gentle, decently fun to play, a proper high-tech. You've got this nice thing going on here, by the way, with the 2 high-low gambles. So you've got 2 numbers to gamble on. It's also got, this is not really a trick per se, because it's literally on the flyer here, where matching green and red numbers offer free gambles. That's exactly what it sounds like. If you have the same number on both high-low reels, you cannot lose the next gamble. So let's go in. I will do per session stats. There we are. It's that old MPU4 sound. You can slightly understand here the problem that they would have had with these machines when you're literally doubling the price of play and you're using exactly the same technology. It's not even like Barcrest could promote these. We've got an exciting new tech. It can do things that the old tech couldn't do before. This is just a straight continuation of the MPU4 tech that they were using to make the end-of-line £4 jackpot machines. We haven't got any synth sound. We haven't got anything really that the old 10p £4 machines couldn't do. So you can perhaps understand the resistance that they may have had from the playing community. It's also got the classic Barcrest nudge ditty, from the time for the jackpot. So it's reasonably happy to pay out token jackpots, this machine. So, it does like to do a hold after nudges, and it's a reasonably token happy machine. Don't dare take a fiver and not pay. After me just saying you can't go a fiver without... Oh, for fuck's sake, come on. This would be disaster for... Oh, now that... I mean, it can do it. This is a bit optimistic. Oh, no. The thing is, it sticks to its percentage pretty closely. I haven't particularly got this. Shall we go... Oh, there we are. So that was nearly £4, wasn't it? But we have got a hold after nudges there. Now then, we'll obviously go lower than the 11. Now, you know what? It does like to lose sometimes. It's a mostly fair number, but it does like to dick you sometimes. Go on then. There we are. You can see we are a bit limited in the tech department here by that old MPU4 sound. The Yamaha sound was a big improvement when Barcrest brought it in. I've not really seen much value in holding two of a kinds on this. It doesn't really seem to do anything. So that was not a great... Let's build the bank up. I mean, that was not a great first fiver, but at least I'd have had, in the Swan and Railway, I'd have had something to put back in from my first fiver. That was the thing for me. All I wanted to be able to do was just carry on playing as long as I had a bit of... Oh, there we are. We've got the 2 7s. As long as I could carry on playing, I was happy. Now, there we are. So let's take skill cash. I am embarrassingly bad at this in the emulator, so I'm probably going to fuck this up. There's the first one. Oh, that was terrible. I should at least be able to get to the third one. If you can get it all the way to the end of the third one, by the way, it does actually give you the £2.40. Oh, fuck me. Now, this is where the machine's saying, I really want you to collect something here. You can win on sketchy numbers, but what we'll do there, we'll just collect cash bars. It's only a 80p exchange, so it doesn't need to give us much. So that was better than the... I mean, for an 80p cash exchange, you can't go too far wrong, can you? No. Even that could be a... Oh, again? Now, this is how I would play it. See, I wouldn't be gambling. If I had a 6 and a 7, I would not be gambling on that. I don't think I've ever seen that give less than the 80p exchange. Unlike, and I will collect it when we get there. Unlike the £2.40 exchange, I'll gamble on that. Ooh, let's see if we can get to the £2.40 exchange. Oh, fuck. That's a really sketchy gamble. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to collect the cash. I'm going to play it properly. So now you can see, after a bit of a sketchy start, remember I'm a tenner in, and I've got £8.30 in the bank. And it's... Because there you go. Because it's a sort of very low volatility machine. Oh, that was perhaps a 4 and a 9. I'll have a go. There we are. Look, there we are. It's holding after nudges nicely, isn't it? We'll collect... Oh, you know what? We should be able to get another 2 gap. Oh, there, see? It does sometimes just stiff you. On a good number. 3s and 2s and 10s and 11s are usually safe, but not always. It can stiff you. We'll have a go on the 4. Fuck, that's a couple of bad gambles there, isn't it? I've not done myself any favours there. And there's no guarantee that that's kind of going to come straight back either. We've got a bank limit of £30 on this. Let's see how much it costs me to get up to the bank limit of £30. So that's a tenner in. You can see my current session stats up at the top there. So we're £15 in now. I've not seen any value from holding 2 of a kinds on this. It doesn't really seem to do anything. We'll see if we can get a decent £2.40 repeater out of it. We'll see if we can get a jackpot out of it as well. Well, obviously we'll go on the 1. The problem is that you can get marooned like this. Can you see? We kind of stuck between the 2 features. Let's have a dodgy gamble. There we are. We got away with it. I'll have another go at skill cash for all the good it's going to do me. There we are. Let's get this second one at least. Oh, I slightly feel like I hit that there, but it felt to me like it jumped, but probably not. I don't think it jumps. I don't think it needs to be honest. There we are. We've got Melon's game. You can see here, really, really high win frequency. Bastard. It's just been a little bit dirty on the high-lows here, which is a slight shame. Oh, see there. See, flash to cancel. And that brings in a super hold. It's not really great. We only got mixed bars, but it's better than nothing. And we'll try and get up to at least skill cash. Skill cash, oh, fuck's sake. You know what? These high-lows have been a bit twatty. Ooh, what's up there? Go on then. Oh, it can do it. It can hold for a jackpot. We've got mixed, but oh, that, you know what? Let's just. I'll get out with a feature if there's a feature. Oh, there it actually dicked me on that one, didn't it? 60p. But you can't go too far wrong on that one, can you? These high-lows are being scummy. That's the only thing that's slightly annoying me here is these high-lows being a bit twatty. But even so, we're not doing bad. 50. Oh, see there? See how it flashed that, and then you can do that, and you get the single bar. So you've got to keep an eye out. There are a couple of little, I hesitate to say cheaty things, but oh, this is dodgy. Dodgy. Got away with it. Now this one is a bit of a sketchy exchange. I'll show you what it does. You get 1, 2, or 3 here, and it can mug you off with one win spin and fucking bring in 60p. I've seen it do that. 3. Now, this is quite good. So there's 60p. Come on. There's £2.40. And what it won't do is take a credit. See there. Now, that's nearly a jackpot win there. And what it does is it never takes a credit. In my experience on that, it will always be within a single credit. And if it breaks through 240, it will pay into tokens. So that's the other feature that can pay tokens. Apart from the straight jackpot, that is the other way that this machine can pay tokens, is from that feature there. It's a little bit of a dodgy exchange in my experience. That's one that can hurt you. And the worst I've seen is it gave one win spin for 60p, which would have been quite annoying on the real thing. You could perhaps make... Oh, that's a nice hold. You could perhaps make a case to just collect the bloody £2.40 instead, if you're on a sketchy number. But we can get out to the £2.40 repeater there, which is nice. And this is not on a crazy percentage, by the way. This is on, I believe, 76%. So we're not on a mad percentage here either. This is on, dare I say, a sort of pub-style percentage. And you can see it's given us a decent game, and it doesn't owe us a fortune either. I think you'd go for the 2.4. Don't fuck me. There we are. Another £2.40. And having played this a lot, I've played this an awful lot over the last couple of days. This feels very, very much like the one that they had in the Swan Railway. This is how I remember this game playing. Now, that's not to say, of course, that oh, fuck. That's dodgy. Oh, no, we got away with it. Well, what do you think? Go on. Oh, there we are. That's quite nice. That's not to say that there aren't other ROM revisions out there. Maybe... Oh, there's a repeat. There's one repeat. Hang on. It's not a bad repeater, this. It can go through dry phases, but once it gets... Come on. Oh, there's 2 repeats. 720. All cash. Very nice. I'm getting a decent bank going here as well. Oh, 720. It can do more than that. So, yeah, obviously that it's possible that there are other ROMs out there. Maybe these £6 ROMs are just streaking ROMs. It's possible that there are settings as well. Remember that you can set the same machine to different profiles, you know, through dip switches or other options. So I'm not saying that there isn't a version of this machine out there that streaks, but this one doesn't, on these £4.80 ROMs, it doesn't seem to have what we would call a straightforward streak. Now, I'm going to take this deliberately, even though I had a 12 there. I want to see if I can get the 240 off this. Oh, fucking hell. Not doing great there. I mean, you can't go too far wrong with it. For a £1.20 exchange, as long as you can get past the first one, you're always going to be doing better than the straight exchange on it. It has played reasonably well for us here. We're 20 quid in. Oh, go on. Any chances? No. I'll get a jackpot out before we call it a day. I will get a jackpot out of it, and then we'll see what our final results are. We're 25 in for a bank of £28.10 at the moment, so we're doing okay. And there we are. It does like a hold after nudges. This. Oh well, you've got to go for it there, haven't you? There we are. Another £2.40 repeater. This was the one thing, of course, that the £4.80 jackpot gave you. It will now dump the whole bank. Can you see there? We do have, even though we haven't had a jackpot, can you see there? We had tokens. That was the super spins feature that we had earlier. That was in tokens because it didn't take a credit. And as far as I can tell, it won't take a credit. It will always be a jackpot or under value in total. You can hold down cancel there, by the way, for a nudge up. No, hold. I want to get a jackpot. It will never. I have not seen it go over a jackpot. It will tip over into tokens if it pays over £2.40. I've never seen it take a credit like a mega streak type thing. So I think that is always a jackpot or under. So we are going to get another skill cash here. Well, you can see, yeah, the advantage here of the £2. Hang on a minute. Let's just miss this. Oh, what the fuck? The £2.40 relative to your stake. It's only 12 times your stake. 20p into a £2.40 jackpot is 12. Unlike 10p into a £2 cash jackpot, which is 20 times your stake. So it does give you that substantially increased frequency of... Oh, that's a nice hold. You see there how it flashed the hold on that. Does give you a substantially increased incidence of that £2.40 repeater. I don't think there's any reason to collect super spins on it. It's not like, say, king spins on Luxor, where it's better than the end feature a lot of the time. In the case of this, if you've got safe gamble for the £2.40 repeater, always take it. Oh, it hasn't gone mad on the repeat, but it's actually played. I haven't got a nudge up there, unfortunately, so I can't go for the jackpot. So we have blasted through. So let's collect that. Oh no, we've got another, and we've got 2 5s. Now what you will see here is it doesn't matter which way you choose. So I can go higher than that. Now in that case, it did actually go higher, but sometimes it will just win lower. You don't actually choose which way it goes. Shall we have another go at fucking skill cash? Let's at least get the first one, for God's sake. I think I'm just being a little bit late there. So let's collect that out. We have won. We're 25 quid in. And we've got, what, 35, 36 quid out? Let's just wait for that to settle down. So we've won £12. Yeah, £12.50. So it's not the kind of win profile that you would get from hitting the machine and it's streaking. But as you can see, it has actually been playing quite nice. Let's just see any chance that we can get to... I'll have a sketchy gamble. See if I can get to skill cash. I would imagine that if you are a good player and you can consistently hit that skill cash, that would be a good way of taking the value out of the machine. That was not particularly uncommon of Barcrest of this era, that you could take the value out of them with skill cash if you could hit it. Let's see if we can get to bar... Okay, we'll take bar blitz. Now, you'll see what it is. Oh, see there. Now, we can step up or down, but I don't think... No, I don't think that's going to work. Or is it? Is that going to fill in 240? I think it actually is, isn't it? Is it going to... No, it isn't. Bastard. I fucked it up. Needed one more step. It's not always available, the £2.40 off that, but you can get the £2.40 repeater off that. I think it's had... It's still giving us wins. It went on a little bit of a rich run there. I'll show you this one as well, because this is a £1.60 exchange. This can go to the... Oh, that's a bad number on the second reel. It's one of those where you get what you're given, and it can kind of see there how it can very much control how many. See there, sometimes it will fill in far more of the coin matrix, and it'll give you a pretty easy run at. Oh, it'll give you a pretty easy run at the £2.40. Let's just see if we can get the jackpot here. But I think you can also get the feel here for how this machine plays. This is so different to a Play It Again. Play It Again was the first Ace Hidden Treasures machine. So these were around at about the same time. High Rise here from Barcrest. 480 jackpot tokens, 240 cash was in the mix. Oh, that was bad. In the mix, in the pubs at the same time as Play It Again. Play It Again would rip you a new arsehole. On pub percentages, 74, 76%, you catch a Play It Again in a bad mood and you are done for. I'm not talking it ripping through, 10 quid or 20 quid. Those things could go through 40, 50 pounds. They could be merciless. In a way that this machine just can't be. You're always going to get more of a gain from something like this, but you're certainly not going to see it do, say, a £50 streak. So that's the trade-off that you have to make. I would prefer, in terms of just going into the pub and, oh, that's nice. In terms of just going into the pub and playing something, I'd rather have this. This is a far gentler, far more agreeable proposition. If you haven't got a lot of money and you just kind of want to be playing the machines with the chance of winning a bit, this would not strike terror into my heart in the way that seeing a Hidden Treasures machine in a pub. If I went into a pub and they had a fucking Play It Again there, I knew I was potentially in for a very rough ride. I'm not doing well on this, am I? Come on. I'd at least like to be able to get to the third column there. That's slightly embarrassing, isn't it? All I want to do now, because I'm aware I don't want to be going on for too long about this. I just want to get a jackpot. It should be. It's usually... Go on. Oh, it will give you a hold after nudges for the jackpot. Sometimes it just drops in on the reels as well. It will literally just drop it straight in on the reels. I mean, we could get up to... I wouldn't really do that hold normally. I mean, we're still up. We're still a tenner up. Can you see there? We're now just under a tenner. It's 35 quid in. We've got a bank, or we've taken out. Go on, we'll go for that. Oh, we've taken out £44. So it's still a profitable session. But you can also see here, it's not doing that throwing endless wins at you in the way that a street profile machine would. We haven't done great on the 2-4. I mean, £7.20 is not terrible, but it can... Oh, there we are! Let's have that classic Barcrest jackpot jingle of the time. This made it through to the Yamaha sound as well. There are Barcrest machines that use the Yamaha synth sound that have exactly the same tune, but in Yamaha vision. It sounds a bit bloopy on this MPU4 hardware. Ding! I haven't seen it hold the jackpot once, by the way. In all of that 1,100 and odd pounds that I've had put through it, I have not seen a single hold on the jackpot. Not saying it can't do it, but I haven't seen it. That was a bit optimistic, wasn't it? So we finished... Oh, there we are. Let's just finish off on a little bit of a flourish. Go on then, let's just see if I can... Can I just at least hit this second one? There we are, fuck's sake. There we are, fucking hell, right. Oh, so there you go, you can now... Someone who's not shit like I am, you can imagine that feature being a pretty good way. It's low down and it's available. I can imagine that if you can consistently hit skill cash, that would be a good way of taking out the value on this machine. There we are, we've not done bad there. We'll just let it settle down, but I'm probably about what? Yeah, just about £15 up. And I would imagine there, because I've just got a token win at the end there, I would imagine that would be going at the bar. Right, I'll get me round in using the tokens. One of the very, very few things that those bloody tokens were actually useful for. So there you go, a lovely old AWP. This is another one, rather like Luxor. This is one of those that I will periodically fire up and have a go at. Probably just doing roughly what I've done there, take it out to the bank limit, see if I can get a jackpot out of it. And you're generally going to be a bit up or a bit down, nothing too crackers. And as I say, this is a machine that I cannot find anyone out there particularly having a bad word to say about this one, going all the way back 21 years when the first classic layout for it was released. Definitely one that if you're not aware of, I would recommend firing up and having a go. We also got Vectra 666 DXs for this in 2022. So these DXs are actually fairly modern, and Vectra did us the 480 jackpot and the £6 jackpot. By all means, mix and match them, have a go on both, but as is pretty much always the case with these things, I feel it gives you the better game on that 480 jackpot with the £2.40 repeater. So that would absolutely be my stake and prize of choice for this one. And one final little bit of trivia. This is Trainspotting. So let's just, I'm super careful with fucking YouTube copyright matches on this. I don't mind the copyright match so much because the channel's not monetized or anything anyway. It's when it fucking gives me the hard ban it's annoying. But we should get away with this. So here's the club scene in Trainspotting when Renton here is off the heroin and he's finding himself feeling a little bit frisky. And he's not doing great in the club here, as you can see. But we just get, and it's literally on screen for under 2 seconds. This is the only look that you get at it. But I'll just show you here. Can you see? There's Begbie, of course. Look at the names of the drinks. Orgasm, Leg Opener, Sure Shag, my word. Anyway, down it. And can you see? That's the best look that we get at it. But it's plenty good enough. You can see there is a high rise in shot in Trainspotting, and then it disappears. That was frame by frame advance. It's actually on screen for under 2 seconds, but that's a very nice one of those. Fruit machine. There we are. Fruit machines on telly and in film. So High Rise there made a special guest appearance in the fantastic film from 1996. It was released in 96. Now, obviously, it will have been filmed a bit earlier than that, but slightly surprised that you've still got a High Rise out and about when Trainspotting was being filmed, which I guess would have been, 1995? So that would have been a pretty old machine at that point, even with the £6 upgrade, which would have come in 1993. That would have been an old machine to still have knocking around in a club in 1995, which I guess was when Trainspotting was filmed. In fact, let's do it properly. Trainspotting was shot in mid-1995 over 7 weeks. So they had a High Rise out and about in mid-1995 up in Scotland. So there you go. I will start a thread about this one over at Desert Island Fruits, which I always do. I'm hoping there that between us we might be able to get an absolute date for this one. Not that it really matters, I'd be slightly interested to know. As an aside, that there is the thread that I started for Luxor following uploading that video. Can you see there? That actually turned into a really nice little chat. That for me is one of the best things about making these videos. Is I'll start a thread over at Desert Island Fruits, and if it gets the community over there just having a little chat about things, that's great. That's all part of the fun of the hobby for me, is having a chat over at Desert Island Fruits with like-minded people, a few old fogies like me, getting the pipe and slippers out, sitting on the comfy chair and having a little bit of a reminisce about fruit machines from days gone by. So as ever, if you do fancy that, by all means, come and join us over at Desert Island Fruits. I always start a thread over there for every video that I make, and sometimes it disappears off into the realms of having a pleasant little chat about things. Anyway, there you go. That's Barcrest's High Rise. One to be aware of if you're not. Certainly worth having a go. And probably from the sort of last era of when you could argue that these things were actually AWPs before going into that £6 era, £8 era when far more of that hard streak profile became the norm. This is a little bit of a gentler proposition. It's very much how I remember it. And you can see there, we had a great game in the emulator. We haven't actually won much. We've won 14 quid, but I was playing the game for a decent little chunk of time. And at the end of it, back in the Swanham Railway, back in the day, I'd have had a little bit more money in my pocket than I started with. And I'd been able to go to the bar and buy a round of drinks with the tokens as well, which would be quite a good result for me. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Do hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will catch up with you next time. But for now it is goodbye.